Welcome to an Exile. I got the legal document for the Lake versus Hobbs appeal to the Arizona Supreme Court. We're going to go over a few details very briefly. I wanted to real quick say thank you. Many of you have paid me in super thanks. That's when if you like a video, you throw a little cash in. I try and respond to them all with a personal thank you. I'm a little behind, but thank you all for your donations in the form of super thanks. I appreciate it. Let's get to the document. Here's the title, Lake v. Hobbs Appeal to the Arizona Supreme Court. So there's three different sections, and she broke them out. This is Kari Lake versus Katie Hobbs. This is Kari Lake versus the Honorable Peter Thompson, the judge of the Superior Court of the state of Arizona. And this is Kari Lake versus Katie Hobbs personally as contestee, Adrian Fontes in his official capacity as Secretary of State, and Stephen Richer in his official capacity as a Rick Astley lookalike. Sorry. The document's long. I'll tell you that it breaks into a lot more legal language what Kari Lake felt like the last court missed. And that's what you have to do to the Supreme Court, is prove that the last courts missed all these facts. I can't list them all. There's hundreds of them listed in the document. Here's further. The opinion effectively immunizes election officials' non-compliance with Arizona's election laws by incorrectly holding that the clear and convincing standard of proof applies to all election contests. This is kind of some of the differences in standards, saying that they held too unfair of a standard, saying that Lake had to prove intent and not just that elections were screwed up. Here's the opinion directly contradicts this court's admonition that election statutes are mandatory, not advisory, or else there would be no law at all. So these are quotes that she's pulling from the last court case, proving that they were using a different standard. You know, these are mandatory. These are not advisory or suggestions. Given the EPM's requirement that the number of ballots inside the container shall be counted and noted on the retrieval form when the secure ballot container is opened, number one is, did the panel err? So this is just if a court case says yes, then she's got a case. By the way, there's 7 of these facts saying, did the panel err when they said this? Did the panel err when they said this? Did the panel err in holding that the EPM does not impose any express time requirement for when to count the ballots, and that an initial estimate of ballots is all that the law requires? This is regarding the ballots that went into the third box in Stephen Richter, and they don't know if there was a chain of custody on them. And each of those reasons are broken down with their own subset of reasons. Reasons petition should be granted is the Court of Appeals erred by applying the wrong standards of review. They were applying too high of a standard, or that Kari Lake had to prove that Katie Hobbs had bad intent, which is almost impossible to prove in a court of law. I broke out of one. It says presumptions of good faith and honesty do not aid Maricopa. That is that the board of electors were given a good faith, and she's saying there has to be due diligence, that you should be able to do an investigation. The same principles above apply to presumptions favoring election officials. So you can't favor Richter or Aaron Fontes or Katie Hobbs. You have to be allowed to scrutinize them in a court of law. And then here's the conclusion, erroneously finding in constitutional claims unnecessarily cumulative. The lower courts never considered the facts. Conclusion, the petition for review should be granted. That's it. It's just saying, therefore, we demonstrated the case. Respectfully submitted, Brian James Blem to Kurt B. Olson. The initial legal document, we'll see if the case goes through. I'll keep you guys posted if I hear anything. But I got this from the Kari Lake War Room Twitter feed. I'll try to remember to put the link in the description. If you want to read the whole document yourself, you can. But this is the place where you want to go for your Kari Lake news. Thanks for watching. I'm Doug in Exile.